The Monte and Pharaoh Show would like to recognize the passing of What a Day Joe Lowry. He'll be remembered for his very bad broadcasting skills, his really shitty veneers, and obviously his terrible tanning salon or tanning spray. Rest in peace, Joe Lowry, never to return again.
Hey, Joe, what a loser.
You know what I love about being Big Ron Shaw, the Earl of Upsets, is that I can afford the best cars in the world. My $100,000+ 2024 Stingray Mustang, or my 2024 Dark Horse Mustang, the only one in Southwest Florida. Don't you wish, Joe, that you could own cars like this? You know, every time a bird flies over it and shits on it, I get a new car. Wait a minute. $100 bill, look at this. Look at that, get that shit off of that car. Let me tell you something, Joe. When you were born, your mother and father saw you. You know what they did? They slapped the doctor because you're such a fucking loser. See you later.
Hey, Joe, it's your girl, Missy. What a loser.
What a day, what a schmuck. Hey, Joe, what a loser.
Welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast, Monte The Pharaoh, only seen here out of Indie Music. Oh, my God. Tin Mirror Studios in Kings Park. Hey, listen, Jimmy, you got to give me a little bit of break. We just started
Brain
here.
dead. Go ahead.
Dude, we're kicking it off. We're kicking it off hard. I cannot wait to speak to our special guest, Ulysses Diaz. This guy is MMA fighter, bare knuckles champion. The dude's got the quickest knockout in combat sports history. Did you see that?
Yeah, and I would like to see him take care of Jake Paul, because if Tyson didn't have the quickest knockout, and this man does, let him beat up Jake Paul.
Dude,
save Tyson the waste of time.
Dude, there is no way Jake Paul is screwing around with this guy. There is no way.
Nope.
No way.
Nope.
No way.
From what I heard, he's a monster.
Well, I met Mr. Diaz at the big event in New York when they came through, and I'm with Sims at the agent table, right? And I'm looking at him, and you know how certain people always have that awe about them, right? You're like, you just know there's somebody, right? You just got to figure out who it is. And then I realized who it was, and I went over to him, and we had a real dude. I wish you were here in New York. You were supposed to come to New York. What a great guy. What a great guy. I mean, honestly, I didn't expect him not to be a great guy, but he was even a nicer person than I thought he would have been. Spoke, with, just like, hey, we didn't even know each other. And he was very polite. We were talking about some shit. And anyway, we're lucky enough to have this man on our show tonight. And I am pumped. I've been pumped. I felt kind of bad because I was kind of harassing him a little bit, because he's a busy man, right? Just had a fight like
Wait. What were you doing? Sending constant emails?
No, I'm not that guy. No, I'm not that guy.
Okay.
But it was like he had a fight.
Fair enough.
He had a fight, I think on May 10th. And then the dude runs a marathon right afterwards. So I was kind of interrupting him during his, getting ready for his marathon shit. Again, he's a busy man.
Right.
You know what I mean? So it's like you want to not overstep your boundaries. But again, just showing what a polite guy he is. He was just like, hey, man, I'm running a marathon, 1,000%. I'm on next week. And it was like unbelievable. I'm telling you, I am excited. This guy's got a story like you don't know. This guy's got star written all over him, man. all over him.
Right.
So
Nice.
I want to
Looking
just
forward.
tell everybody about upcoming shows. On May 29th, The Player Goes Solo. The Player is one of our many hosts on this channel. He's actually doing a solo interview with his guest Vita Carey. Vita Carey is from a sex podcast, and they're gonna have a little fun. They're gonna have a little discussion, so it's gonna be pretty good. And then on May 30th, Missy Beefcake makes her debut on her episode Missy Mania. She'll be joining the channel. If anyone doesn't know, Missy Beefcake is the wife of Hall of Famer, WWE Hall of Famer, Brutus the Barber Beefcake. Missy Beefcake, as her first guest, will have Jake Roberts' daughter, Brandy Smith, on. So that should be pretty good, Jimmy. I'm very excited for it. I'm excited for Missy. I'm excited for the channel. I'm excited for you and me and everybody that's involved in the channel. And then we return on the main show on the 30th with AWA superstar, shall I say AWA Hall of Famer, even though they have a Hall of Fame, the great Greg Gagne.
Well, that's another, top-tier situation when you have Greg Gagne in, all kidding aside. I know I always razzed him about Beyond Borg and McEnroe and stuff, but come on. It's Greg Gagne, period. The legend speaks for itself. That's going to be out of the ballpark kind of stuff, bro.
And then on June 6th, former WWE Women's World Champion Rockin' Robin joins Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast.
How perfect is that for our show anyway? We grew up in the rock and wrestling era, and Rockin' Robin was big time, big time. So that's good. That's a great catch, Mike. Great catch.
We are starting off with the great Ulysses Diaz, then we're going to Greg Gagne, and then we're going to Rockin' Robin. I'm pumped. Real quick, before we get to this esteemed guest, a quick news item, Jimmy, and then I just need your response on it. It's a pretty hot breaking news. The city of Centerville, Iowa, has just declared a local emergency. City officials are reporting a complete outage of Little Debbie's snack cakes. A large, heavy-set woman wearing a wrestling mask and a Tony Garea T-shirt has been seen around town frequently visiting local grocery and convenience stores. Local business owners are reporting mysterious disappearance of zebra cakes, cosmic brownies, honey buns, oatmeal cream pies, and Swiss rolls. Fuck, even donut sticks are gone. Hold on, dude. This is really serious. A federal emergency management agency known as FEMA is currently in the process of transporting replacement cakes to Centerville from their surplus facility in Johnson Hole, Wisconsin.
Johnson Hole?
Police are on high alert to capture this mysterious woman who was spotted exiting the local Come and Go with large bulge in her spandex, shouting, "I got the cakes, baby." Local officials are urging residents to report any sightings. And if you could put this phone number up, Abe, at any chance, it's very important. 1-800-CAKES-BABY. So if you do recognize this woman stealing all this cake, please call 1-800-CAKES-BABY. If you do report this and she is captured, you will win you'll get a lifetime subscription to Sportskeeda, which will give this award for the information lead to the capture of Cakes Baby. Thoughts on that, Jimmy?
Wait a minute. What? No personalized autograph from Bill Apter, if you would?
And by the way, Ulysses is going, what the fuck am I doing on this show right now?
Oh, absolutely he is. But he's probably hitting his second, drink. So maybe he's like, these guys are kind of funny. They're weird, but they're kind of funny.
We'll see when he comes on. He might be like, don't ever call me again, Monty.
Can I ask this? Was there any mention of Cakes Baby, this Cakes Baby that's wanted right now? Possibly, also going around Facebook and unfriending people? Is that possible?
I don't know, but we got to get out of this little stupid feud. In fact, we're never mentioning it again. I would like to thank the band that sings the theme song for Monte The Pharaoh and Jimmy Farrell, along with his partner, Bart Griggs. Make up the band with Stereo Hall.
I went lower.
Stereo Hall sings such great songs as In My Dreams, This Life Not Far Behind, Here Comes the Rain. You can find their music on the Wisteria Hall YouTube page where what you do, Jimmy?
Like and subscribe. Oh my God, I'm still dying over that. Go ahead.
Download their music on Spotify, Apple Music, Reverb Nation. If you didn't know it, you are watching Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Catch us on the Monte The Pharaoh YouTube page, Facebook Live, Twitch. If you're lucky enough to live in New York, you will see the great Ulysses Diaz in a reduced version of this interview where over 150,000 people watch us weekly. Why? I don't know, but they do. No, I do know, because we are the greatest of all time, and we get the greatest guests like Ulysses Diaz. Again, we'll be back after this commercial break with this champion, not only in the sport of combat, but in the sport of life. Manscaped? Have you tried the new equipment that's been sent?
I'm afraid because it says weed whacker. I'm scared.
Maven, Manscaped, what are you thinking about
Love
Manscaped,
it.
dude?
Love it.
What do you use it for?
Necessity. What don't I use it for? Put it this way. The only hair I have on my entire body is these eyebrows.
Yeah.
That you see. These caterpillars racing to the middle of my nose. That's it.
That is it.
That's all I have. And that's all I want.
That's the
Manscaped is a must.
We were talking before the show. There's nothing worse than just hair.
Yeah.
Right? Hair on a woman, hair on a man. It's just bad.
Absolutely. And it's the one thing that the older I get, it starts growing more in unwanted areas.
Absolutely.
I hate it.
I'm going to ask you a question.
Uh-oh.
Just going to go out there.
Oh, boy.
Go for it.
You're doing a deed.
Yes.
Again, I don't want you to have to admit this because we, as men, we try not to admit this. But if you're going to go do the deed on a woman, would you rather have her be hairless or a little hair, racing stripe, or
Racing stripe.
full retro bush?
Racing stripe.
Retro Bush is out.
Yes, thank you.
Retro Bush is out.
Yeah.
I don't mind a small, well-manicured landing strip. Every now and then, if it's completely, and I'm talking like baby's ass bald, then I start, where is that pedophilia line? I don't want to wander into that.
That's very
Thought of it like
interesting.
that.
I never thought about that. You're a smart dude. Holy shit.
So if the landing strip is clean enough for the plane to go in smoothly, you're cool with that?
If the landing strip has, like I said, well manicured, you can see both sides. It's not
Like blinking lights on both sides of that
I
landing?
just I don't want, I don't want the shrubbery going off into unwanted areas on that as well.
Gotcha. Oh, look what you found. Ooh.
I got to be all honest though. Hey, the older I get though, I don't think I can be as
I found it!
Have you ever gone down there and she slowly brings down the underwear? Then
What is it?
retro? Just,
Absolutely.
you're like, whoa!
Wow.
Yeah,
Like,
I'm
like
46,
it
of
pops
course.
out?
Do you walk out or what do you do?
No, I muster through. I muster up the courage to get
He's
through.
a trooper. Yeah. He's a trooper. Got to give him an A.
Not all heroes wear capes.
Yeah,
There you go.
I hear you.
There you
Listen,
go.
I couldn't
Super
say.
Bush.
I couldn't say it. Well, if you have the same beliefs as Maven, does Manscaped could help you?
Absolutely.
The weed whacker.
Absolutely.
What are you thinking?
I'm thinking that I may have to, go in a room, close the door, and hang out with the weed whacker for a little while.
Yeah, I think you're a retro guy, aren't you?
I like 70s adult films, if that's what you're getting at.
Yeah, there you go.
Yeah,
But
only
with that,
Ron
we're going to take a
Jeremy,
quick
Batman.
commercial break, and we'll be
Anyway.
back with this wrestling icon, Maven.
We will see you in a drop kick second.
Drop kick.
All right, welcome back to Long Island's #1 pro wrestling broadcast. Monte The Pharaoh, filmed only at Tin Mirror Studios in Kings Park, New York, where we have our special guest, the champ, Ulysses Diaz. Ulysses, how are you, buddy?
What's going on, brother, man? I appreciate you guys giving me the opportunity. And hey, when the show's over, I need you to text me the picture of Cakes Baby so I can be on the lookout as well.
Oh, we'll be sending it to you, man. And you know what?
Okay.
But you know what? You're in training, bro. Do you really want a lifetime subscription to Sportskeeda? I mean, what's that going to get you, bro?
I don't know. You never know when I might go train in Centerville, Iowa, and run into Cakes Baby. You know what I mean?
Well,
Get me
listen.
lifetime supply of cakes.
If you're in Iowa, tell me if you find a guy with really bad veneers and a dark tan, and and hopefully we'll lock him down.
Sounds like he sticks out like a sore thumb in Iowa.
Dude, could you imagine living in Iowa?
I can't. Not me.
Not me either. Never in a million. What are the people? Have you ever been to Iowa? I have never been to Iowa. Have you been to Iowa?
I've never been to Iowa. Nope. I don't know about
So
Iowa.
since you haven't been to Iowa, what if you just had a guess? What do you think the people are like there?
You know what, man? It's hard to say. Honestly, I know it's only thing I really know about Iowa. It's they got a good wrestling college. They got the Iowa Hawkeyes. They got good wrestling over there.
There we go.
Look at
All
that.
right, so there is something in Iowa. There's also a Frankenhead, but there's a lot of strange things in Iowa.
Oh my God,
Right.
Ulysses,
Yes, sir.
you got the best name in the history of names. Like, how was your name? Like, what's the origins of your name? I mean, I want to be Ulysses. I'm serious. It's like, that's the best fucking name I've ever heard in my entire life.
Thank you, man. I got blessed with the name, and I wear it very proudly. He was a Greek warrior. But my mom was reading the book called Ulysses by James Joyce when I was being born, and I got the name. It was it was a blessing to have it. When I was a kid, I didn't really like my name too much. It was hard to pronounce. Everybody would butcher it. But as I got older, I grew into it, and now as a professional fighter, I wear it proudly.
Dude, I can imagine you in school. Just think like the teacher. It's like, Ulysses. It's like, dude, I don't know how you didn't love that name, man.
Yeah, but Mike, you know what the key though is here. What's in the full name? Because could you imagine if it had been Ulysses Weinberg or something like that?
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
It's the fact that Ulysses Diaz, it just rolls off the tongue.
Right.
It sounds right, but I don't know if Weinberg would have fit as well.
Or Lowry. Or Lowry.
Yeah.
No, that wouldn't fit it. That wouldn't fit either. That wouldn't be. No, Ulysses Lowry? That's awful. No, that does not work at all. But you know what, Ulysses, your name is effing great. But some people are lucky and others are not. You are known.
That's for sure, brother. That's for sure, right?
Yeah. You are known. Let's get the folks at home to get more familiar with everything you've done over the years. You are definitively known for the fastest knockout ever in combat sports. Now, Mike had explained it to me on the phone earlier, all about you and the knockout. I'm like, oh my God, where does Monster come from? Where does that all come from? Is it just, did you think it up? Did somebody think it up for you? How do we get to Monster?
Monster's a nickname that my first boxing coach gave me. He used to call me his pet monster. And, I like to tell people I'm only a monster when I get in the ring. Outside of the ring, I'm a gentleman. I try to be as nice as I can to everybody. I definitely show respect. I'm a respectful fighter. But once I jump in that ring, I become the monster, man. And it's game time, it's show time, and it's time to, that's how I feed my family.
Wrestlers obviously practice. Professional wrestlers always have big entrances and stuff like that. Did you practice how you go about walking to the ring, your mannerisms, how you look at the crowd? Is it formulatic with you, or is it just like every night's different?
No, well, I mean, every night is different, but my style, I have come out with certain like local rappers and some legendary rappers have walked me out. But my thing is, like I said, once it's showtime, I get straight to business. And I'm ready to get in there and do what I've been training for so many months for.
It's funny. Mike told me what an intimidating looking guy you are when he met you in real life, right? And I just got to meet you for a few seconds before the show got started tonight on video. So now I see you. We had a kid in our neighborhood back in the day that was basically for lack of better term, the scariest motherfucker in the neighborhood, right? And we were all terrified of him. Now, it's weird. I can tell you're a great guy and everything, but I'm looking at you, and you actually are reminding me of that scary motherfucker. So I ask you this. Does it affect you in real life? Like, can people tell right away, I better not mess with this guy? Do people treat you differently for what your aura gives off? Whether you mean to do that or not, that's what it gives off.
You know what? It does happen a lot, believe it or not. Like you said, it's my looks. I got gold teeth in my mouth. I got braids in my head, and I got scars all over my face, and I got tattoos in 90% of my body. So yeah, I do. I like to call myself the oxymoron though, because I know I look scary, but again, I like to I like to talk to people. I like to I think it's a good it's a good opening for me to look like this and then be able to talk to you like, oh shit, okay, I get, everybody's guard is up, and then I put their guard down as soon as I start talking.
There you go.
Well,
There you go.
bro, it's like you're scary looking, but you're a good looking guy. Like it's a weird it's a weird mixture. It's like
Right.
dude, like
Right.
look, I know you're married now, but like when you were growing up, right? I mean, I could imagine chicks you must have been the chick magnet, right?
I never had trouble in that department, thank God.
That's for sure. Listen, I always want to know about the man or woman that we're interviewing, and tell me a little about you growing up, maybe about a little bit about mom and dad, and like what made you the man you are today.
Yeah, absolutely, man. So I'm born and raised in Miami, Florida. I'm of Cuban descent. I grew up with a single mom. That's all I know is my mom. She's still my right hand woman to this day. You know, I always came up. I was always my mom was always working to keep a roof over her head and clothes on my back. So I warned it off a lot. I didn't have any male role models. I had no uncles, cousins, fathers, stepfathers, nothing like that. So I grew up with my friends, man, and what they did, I did for a while. And that led me down the wrong alley a couple times. I was I was involved with gangs. I went to juvenile detention center as a kid. I dabbled in anything you can do in the streets, and found myself in the wrong direction. I went to prison as a young man. Spent 20, spent 2 years in prison. And then I came out, and believe it or not, I tell people I went from prison to private jets because I came out and I started touring the world with Pitbull, which is a childhood friend of mine. So I went from prison. Less than a month later, I was in Seoul, South Korea. I was in Antwerp, Belgium. I was in Milan, Italy. I was in Okinawa, Japan, and I was having the time of my life, man. I traveled the world for a while, but at that time I didn't have my head right. I was young. Again, I was, just not living like I was supposed to, and I got myself in some more trouble. And at the age of 35, man, I had this. I'm 43 now, so it's been 8 years. But at 35, I had this. I'm not a religious guy, but I am spiritual. I believe in God, and I like to tell people I had this epiphany, this come to God moment, where I was just, for lack of a better terms, I was just sick of my own shit. And I've always liked fighting. I did amateur boxing as a young man. I always kept up. I did a couple MMA fights when I was younger. And I go, you know what, man, let me try this fighting thing. At first it was kind of like a bucket list thing, saying, I want to get a fight and just, take a couple pictures for Instagram and say I did it. I trained my ass off for the fight. I went to Dominican Republic. I knocked a guy out in the first round, and it was the best thing that ever happened to me, man. It was like a rush of life. It got me higher than any drug, than any moment in life. And being at the gym, at the boxing gym, and my coaches knowing my background made me accountable. So whenever I was missing, they make sure to call me and say, "Hey, man, why are you not in the gym?" So the accountability, the consistency of staying in the gym, the hard work, everything attracted me. All the positive feedback I was getting from people being proud of me from leaving what I was doing to actually do something. So, I like to tell people fighting saved my life, man. And I was able to turn it around. I'm married to a beautiful woman. I got some great healthy kids, and life is good, man. I get opportunities like this now to talk to you and Jimmy, and I got the fastest knockout in combat sports. I fight for a great promotion, and life is great, man.
Isn't life a blessing? Like we were speaking earlier before we came on air, it's like you should be very proud of the man that you've become, rising like a phoenix, and now you got this great bright future. It's amazing how the human spirit can change everything, and God bless you, man. It's a fantastic story.
Thank you very much, man.
No worries. Question for you though. Growing up, many of the great fighters like yourself, maybe even athletes, grew up being bullied, and bullying's a big subject. Was Ulysses Diaz bullied growing up, and that's how you became aggressive, or were you the bully?
No, I was never the bully. I was always actually the anti-bully. So whenever I saw people bullying other kids, I'd want to fight the bully. Um, I guess growing up as just with a mom and no dad, and not really, figuring things out when I was younger. I think I kind of had a chip on my shoulder, and I guess I figured out at a young age that I was good at fighting, and I was, I always wanted, and I was like the protector of my friends. So no, I was, to answer your question, I wasn't a bully. I was always the anti-bully, but I did like fighting. It was something about the heat of the moment of fighting that always, attracted me from a young age.
I want to go back to
So,
mom. I want to go back. I'm sorry, Jimmy. I want to go back to mom.
No, hit it.
I want to go back to mom for 1 second. You said
Yeah.
she's your right hand, woman, right?
That's right.
She's your spirit. When you were going through your troubled times and you were sitting thinking, and your mom had a rough time, right? You didn't have a father. She's raising
Absolutely.
children on her own, I'm assuming, right?
Right.
You're probably struggling. When you're having these problems and you're struggling, does Ulysses Diaz sit down and go, I'm destroying my mom too?
You know what? I was at that time. I was, giving her anytime. She couldn't sleep at night when I was gone because she never knew what phone call she was gonna get about me. Um, but at that moment, as for myself, that wasn't going through my head, man. It wasn't going through my head. Now, as an older guy, as an older gentleman with some experience and being able to have slowed my life down over the last 8 years, and I'm in a whole different, category mentally. I can look back and ask myself that question. But thank God, at the end of the day, I was able to turn it around. My mom's still very healthy, and she's been able to see the 180 change and in me now become the man she always wanted me to be.
Great stuff. We spoke earlier. You were in the service. Can you tell that story, and then what led you to prison, and what was your experience in prison?
So, at 18 years old, I had been getting in trouble down here in Miami. So, I signed up for the Coast Guard, tried to go to the military. I signed up for 4 years. 11 months into my 4-year term, I get jumped at a bar in Tallahassee, Florida. I fight back, try to defend myself. I get sent to the hospital, and some other guys that I fought got sent to the hospital too. I end up going to jail, getting kicked out of the Coast Guard, and it just started this whirlwind of negative, negative things in my life, and my mentality was on a negative point at the time too. So I just kept the trouble going. Got in another fight down here in Miami, which ended up sending me to prison as a young. I went to prison. I was 23 years old. Spent 23, 24, and got out when I was 25. As for prison, man, prison is a whole world in itself, man. It's hard to explain. It's hard to tell people what it's like unless you've been there. And I don't wish it upon my worst enemy. I'll tell you that. It's really hell on earth.
Jimmy, you there?
Yeah, I'm here, brother. I wanted to ask you about, you said you were, spiritual and stuff. Is it just, they say there's no coincidences with God. It's been said, I've heard it many times in church and with people who have spiritual belief. Is it luck or fate that puts you and Pitbull in the same neighborhood when you guys are kids? And can you tell us a little bit about your friendship with Pitbull over the years and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely, man. You know what? I don't. I mean, I guess I don't believe in luck. I want to say it's faith, man, and things happen for a reason, and life works the way it does, for some odd reason that we'll never understand. But I met him when I was 11 years old. We're in 7th grade. We've been best friends ever since. We still to this day. He's given me amazing opportunities. He's a huge motivation and inspiration in my life. I still bounce ideas off him, and we still, go back and forth and do things. And like I said, he's more family than anything. But yeah, I say it's again, not to get so religious and stuff, but I believe in God, man, and God puts you in certain situations for you never know until it's happening, and sometimes, like it's happened many times in my life, you ask yourself like, damn, why is this happening to me? Why am I going through this? And as time passes by, you look back and you're like, I end up being glad that it happened to me and that I went through it because it got me to the position I'm at today.
Why combat sports, though, right? What makes you decide? Is it just by necessity? Obviously, you're a really good boxer, and you explain that, but why did you choose that career?
I always liked boxing. I had back surgery back in 2009, and I had I fractured my patella like in 2008. So I just like using the hands. I'm like, you know what? Let me get into boxing. I did very well in boxing, and in 2019, bare knuckle approached me with an offer. We're trying to negotiate, didn't come to terms, and then February of 2020, we came to an agreement, and I fought for them for the first time. And last end of last year, I signed with a new promotion called BYB. Probably the best move I've ever done in my life, man. It's an amazing bare knuckle promotion. It's homegrown from Miami. They're going on their 27th show. And they just acquired BKB, which is which was the overseas over in England, the bare knuckle. They acquired them, so now we have a huge roster of fighters. It's an amazing company to work for, and the people behind the scenes make it. It's hard to find a good promotion to fight for when you're a fighter. You know what I mean? I'm sure it's the same way in wrestling. Promoters, they're known as sharks. But not these guys, man. I ran into a great company, and I hope to help this company grow.
So Ulysses, is it, Mike? If I can,
yeah.
Ulysses, is it fair to say that it's also very enticing to be allowed to legally annihilate people in the ring? Is there something to that too? Because that's kind of nice. You're allowed to like mingle and mangle, and you get paid to annihilate them legally. This is great, right?
Yeah, man. Listen, man. There was a point in my life where fighting was getting me in trouble and sent to prison,
right.
And now fighting, getting paychecks and opportunities like this to be able to speak to you guys.
Well,
there you go.
I have to go to the business point of it, though, Jimmy. So, Ulysses, you said, hey, they approached you and you couldn't agree to a contract. But is there a point where you're like, oh, shit, I better go get a lawyer to represent me or an agent to represent me? Like, how does that work?
No, I have an agent. I have the best, sports management agency. It's called First Round Management. They got a ton of UFC guys, ton of bare knuckle, ton of football players. Malki Kawa is the president, and he's my right-hand guy. I know Malki from high school. So I have great people running my business, running my fight business. So I'm in good hands, man. I let them do their thing, and when the right opportunity comes, and we get ready.
Well, let's pull back the curtain a little bit. Let's talk about like a Jerry Maguire type of thing, because I've always been interested in that type. So here you are, you're this accomplished fighter. Are you having like all these agents coming at you, like, let me represent you? Is it like Jerry Maguire? Like, how does that work?
Well, it happened to me where a couple of people approached me. When I got the fastest knockout, I was part of another sports management agency. Those guys kind of fumbled the ball. I felt like they didn't take advantage of the situation. They weren't ready for what happened. So I immediately jumped to this bigger company, and we had a conversation. I told guys I need to take advantage of the situation. The window of opportunity in the fight world is small, and it closes every day, every second. So I jumped to a bigger place with PR people, with a whole team of people, and started getting my name out there. And that's what helps you in the fight world. Nowadays, it's you can fight good, that's fine. But if you're not popular, you're not getting anywhere.
That's a great point, right? So I think Jimmy brought it up earlier. It's like you have to have the entrance, you got to have the personality. It's for lack of a better term,
it's a package deal.
It's got to be pro wrestling, right? In a certain way.
Right.
So this is somewhat of a pro wrestling show, kind of, not really. But the one that's if anyone doesn't know, you are married to former WWE superstar Dana Brooke. How did you guys meet?
Man, I actually met her. She happened to be in Florida on the day of one of my weigh-ins for a fight. So my coach knew her, and he had called her. He was like, "Hey, one of my fighters just weighed in. We're gonna go eat. Why don't you meet us up so we could eat?" She's like, "Okay, I'll come down." So I had just weighed in. The next day I got to fight. That's all I'm really thinking. He passes me the phone for me to tell her where we're going. And she's on FaceTime, so I see her, and I just make a comment like, "Oh my God, you're beautiful." I tell her we're gonna go eat. When she shows up there to meet with us, I was already gone because I had gone. I ate my food and I went home getting ready for tomorrow, which was the fight. And she had DM'd me on Instagram. She's like, "Hey, I missed you at the sushi place. I leave town for 2 weeks. You know, good luck on your fight. But can you get my friend a ticket to the fight? She wants to go." Say, "Yeah, no problem. What's her name?" Left her, a couple tickets at will call. I ended up winning the fight. In like less than a minute, I got like a knockout of the year that night and on Titan FC. And she hit me back to congratulate me, and then we started our relationship over the phone for 2 weeks because she was on the road with WWE. Then when she came home, which I think it was a blessing in disguise to actually have get to talk to her for 2 weeks without really seeing her in person until we finally met. And man, I'll tell you, I hate to sound like a rom com, but it was love at first sight, man. Love at first sight. We've been together for 5 years. We got a great life together, and life is good.
So
that's awesome. That really is.
That is an awesome story, dude.
That is awesome, Mike. Mike, if I can get this in quick,
sure.
Obviously the wrestling business, Ulysses, is it can be very backstabbing and politics and everything. Obviously, is the fight game behind the curtain that way too?
Oh, absolutely, man. That's I think that's in all aspects of the business, but it's in a fight game where you're kind of you run your own show. You're kind of you're a subcontractor basically. You know what I mean? So you know how promotions are. You know how promoters are. They try to wheel you and deal you, and at the end try to screw you. But like I said, I got a great team behind me. I've been in the game long enough. I started at a late age, so I was already kind of mature as my career went on. So I got to handle a lot of things on my own too. But yeah, the fight business is it can be a shady business as well. Depends who you deal with.
Can I give you a quick, and Dana will tell you this anyway, DDP, Diamond Dallas Page, decided he was going to be in the ring as a wrestler very late, my friend, and he became WCW World Heavyweight Champion. So there you have it right there. Take it away, Mike.
So, Ulysses, being that you're such a great athlete and a lot of great athletes, you got to be on 100%, especially in the field you're at, right? You show some compassion in that ring, you're going to find yourself in some deep shit. But here's a tough question. You spoke about, you are a great guy, but how do you have to be on 100%. How do you turn it off in regular life, right? You see all these athletes, right? That, whether they're with their spouse or their girlfriend or they're at a bar, some dude challenges them. How do you turn it off that you don't find yourself in trouble? Look, I'm married. Jimmy's married. Let's be honest, right? My wife could be a pain in the ass sometimes. It's like, how do you turn it off? Especially in your field?
Man, so I just, for me, it's business, man. When I get in the ring, it's business. I have fought people I fought friends of mine before. That's how it ended up being. And when it's time to get in there, I just, I guess there's a switch I hit where it's just business. I handle up, and as for the streets, man, I try to stay away from problems as much as possible. Shit happens all the time. I laugh it off. Now, if you get in my personal space, just like anybody else, I'm gonna have to defend myself.
Right.
But I don't carry the chip on my shoulder anymore. I try to be as nice as possible to everybody. But when I step in that ring, man, another switch hits, and it's time to handle business, brother. You're trying to knock my head off. And I'm damn sure trying to knock yours off.
But how do you fight? Like you just said, you fought your friends. How do you do that? Like, now we talked about turning it off. How do you turn it on? It's like, there's your best friend in the other corner, and now you got to beat his ass. And it's like, how do you turn it on?
Nothing personal, but sorry there, buddy.
Hey, that's exactly what it is. That's exactly what it is. Nothing personal, man. It's time to handle business, and this is what we do. This is what we do for a living.
Dude, this is why he's him and we're us, dude. You know what I'm saying?
We used to beat the living tar out of each other in the backyard, but the second somebody really got hurt, it was like, I want mommy's iced tea. Running in the house.
Stop it. Oh, my
God. Horrible. Ulysses, forgive me. I got to go back to wrestling because I'm the mark on this program, okay?
Oh, good, bro.
But I wanted to ask you, obviously you must have traveled with your wife in the past when she was doing, the shows and stuff like that. I would think you had. We know that the wrestlers themselves are great athletes, but when you're in the back, like, and she's working and stuff, were any wrestlers intimidated by you? Did you get any, like, looks like, people bowing up on you or anything like that?
No, man. You know what, man? I had a great time. Everybody was super cool.
Nice.
It was amazing to meet everybody. I got to meet some legends, guys that I used to see wrestle, like The Undertaker, and other legends, Ric Flair I've met. And it's been super cool, man. I actually got to wrestle one time. Um, there was a thing called WWE Raw Underground, which was
Right.
McMahon's son was Shane McMahon was running the thing, and I got to wrestle Dolph Ziggler, which was a cool match.
Nice.
Yeah, it wasn't set up for me to win, but it's all good. I went with the flow.
That's what I had to say. I remember that you lost to Dolph Ziggler. That had to been pretty hard for you to swallow, right?
Yeah, no, it was all good. I understood the assignment, and we got it done, man. But it was a great opportunity to be able to do that and be on TV, and it was great.
All right, wait a minute though. But tell the truth. Did Ziggler say to you afterwards, "Thanks for not hurting me"?
Yeah, he did, man.
There you go. There you go.
Of a wrestler himself.
There you go. How did you find wrestling itself when you were doing that with him? What is your level of respect for pro wrestling? I'm just curious.
Oh, I'll tell you this, man. I've gone to train with my wife. Shout out to Gangrel down here in South Florida.
We love Gangrel.
Yeah, he has a gym down here, and he opens the doors for us whenever we want to go and train. And I went one day, and they were teaching me how to take a bump. First thing I did was I got in the ring and I ran the ropes. I didn't know how tight wrestling ropes are, so I was in the ring 5 seconds before I hurt myself.
Oh.
And shit. So then they started teaching me how to take a bump. So I'm landing on my back, and after the third one, I get up, and I'm not gonna lie, I felt like puking. I had a headache, and I was like, you know what? Can you cuss here?
You got to tuck your chin, and of course you can cuss.
Well, I was like, fuck this, man. I'd rather get punched in the face, man. I was sick as a dog. So I got nothing but the utmost respect for the professional wrestlers. That shit is not easy.
Wait a minute. That's the line of the day. I'm trademarking that line. I'd rather be punched in the face.
Yeah, absolutely, man. Yeah, I got nothing but the utmost respect for those guys, man. It's a tough business, and my wife's in it, and everybody, whoever knows anything about the wrestling business, and especially if you're tied into it, first thing they ask you is like, is it real or fake? You know what I mean? Everybody asks you that question, and I tell them, look, man, they're following a storyline, right? There's a story behind this, but when I tell you that wrestling is real, they're really hitting each other, they're really taking those hits, they're really taking bumps, they're really flying over the ropes, they're really getting smashed by tables and chairs. That shit is real, man. You know what I mean? Now. There's a story behind it, but the hits are as real as it can get. So nothing but respect for them, man.
You obviously have a great look and stuff, and I think I already know the answer as to what you would tell them. But were you approached by wrestling, promotions and stuff to do some wrestling?
No, man. But you know what? Now, getting to the end of my combat sports career, I would like to step to one of them and see if I can play some type of character. I think I have the look. I think I have the size. And I'd love to give it a try.
You got to tuck your chin when you're taking those back bumps so you don't bang your head.
Look at you giving him advice, Jimmy. Look at that.
I saw the Iron Claw. I know everything.
Look at that. You know it all.
Yeah. Me too.
Hey, what did he think of it? What did you think of the Iron Claw?
I think it was a great movie, man. I think they did a great job with the movie. I think it was it's a sad story. It's a crazy story. But I think as the movie itself, I think it was a great movie. Me and my son saw it.
You would have made a better Ric Flair, though. I'm sorry.
I would have loved Ric Flair in that movie.
You're gonna put blonde hair on Ulysses? Come on, stop it.
Why not? They might as well have. That was the most ridiculous Ric Flair I've ever seen. Let Ulysses take a shot.
So, Ulysses, let me ask you something. I know you try to stay out of public standings and stuff like that, but you know how it works, right? If you're out somewhere, how often do people say, "Oh shit, there's Ulysses Diaz. Let me test him. I'm going to test this dude right now."
Jesus God,
man, you know what? I'm happy to say that's never happened. I don't put myself in those situations, and I'm too grown to be tested. You know what I mean? And like I said, anybody can say whatever they want. They can do whatever they want. if they get in your personal space, you got the right to defend yourself, you know.
Absolutely.
But I try not to get it that far.
All right, well then, at least be honest this way, right? You enjoy making guys shit their pants, don't you?
Hey, I'll tell you what. There's certain guys out there that I do enjoy doing that too. You know,
like do you get with your
bit.
wife and you say, "Hey, let's go to dinner. I'm gonna walk away from the table, leave you alone because I know one of these clowns is gonna come up to you, and then I'm just gonna stand behind them and make them shit their fucking pants." Oh, we lost them.
Did we? Oh, dear God. I don't know what happened. Maybe he hit his phone. Possible.
Or maybe he said, "I'm done with these two clowns."
Like these guys are idiots. Now I know what's wrong with wrestling. Unbelievable.
Dude, how cool is Ulysses?
Oh, he's great. He's great. I hope that he's able to figure out how to come back to us. That would make him even cooler.
He just has to click it.
Wait a minute. Wait, Mike. Break out the spirit box. Let's see if we can get Ulysses.
All right, hold on. Let's see if I can do it. But he's not dead. He can't come back from the spirit box.
Yeah, but he's a spiritual man. We got a shot, don't we? I mean, I guess not. I guess you're right. Yeah,
we could try.
You have a point.
Listen, we'll try. Can you get Ulysses back on the dude? We were just hitting our stride with him, dude. How cool is that guy, man?
I'm telling you, premature interviewation. This is awful. This is just not right at all. So what do you want to do in between? We don't have to sit here and be awkward and stare at each other. What do you want to do?
We're going to talk like we usually talk. So
okay,
give me your opinion on Ulysses so far.
Oh, he's a great guy. I absolutely love him. You know, by the way, did you know that he was here in Panama City Beach for quite a while there? I kind of like that. That's a weird coincidence. I find that a weird coincidence in things, you know. That naval base every morning plays the Star Spangled Banner. I'm reminded how much I love my country at 8 a.m. Or is it 6 a.m.? Right. I don't know. It's early. And you know how I'm a bit of a Count Dracula. You know what I'm saying? Where's Seth freaking Rollins, Mike? Is he going to be back anytime soon? Can I just quickly ask you that? Have you read anything?
I honestly think they're trying to like build other people at this point, Jimmy.
Right.
And they're trying to not having this, like Seth is over, right? And let me ask you this: where does Seth rank as the all-time great wrestlers?
Of his generation, I would put him probably in the top 5 of his generation. I mean, he's got everything going on, right? He's got mic skills. He's got mat skills. He has had an impact. He's a big-time player. All the fans love him. Behind the scenes, and you've said it yourself, I think that he is today's Shawn Michaels of the company.
Right.
You know, he's the number one trusted hand. You're going to get a great match out of him. He's the golden boy. I feel like he is. You know, they always say Roman Reigns is. Of course, Roman Reigns is a golden boy behind the scenes, but it's as far as workload and keeping the respect of the in-ring wrestling on enough of a level that even AEW fans can't deny. The guy's a technician. He's great at what he does. It's Seth freaking Rollins. He's the complete package. You know, for all fans, for the ones who want the entertainment with the intro, for the ones who want the in-ring wrestling, he's for all fans. He is truly great.
That's some really good points, Jimmy. And it is amazing that Seth Rollins does not have a bad match.
No, I've never seen him have a bad match. He's a great in-ring storyteller, something Roman doesn't get enough credit for himself, you know. I hate to sound like a mark, but I do hope that one day the Shield somehow we see them one last time. I just don't want to see them old and wrinkly and like in a bar the way Ric Flair was. I want to see them, before it gets too late to see that. That faction is one of the greatest factions of this century in the pro wrestling business. They should not undermine what they did together. And this is mostly a message to Moxley. It's like, damn it, John, really? What are you doing?
Before it says Seth Rollins' voice is annoying.
Okay, I can see that. Look, even if he's annoying, you're probably still watching him. You know, there's plenty of guys I couldn't stand. But some people keep your eyes on the camera. I think he's one of them. You know, love him or hate him. He's one of them. Pretty much.
So
How do you feel?
I'm going to put you on a spot now, right?
Yeah. Okay.
I was a fan of hers, but she didn't get. She just. I don't know why she couldn't get over with the WWE crowd, but she spent 10 years in the WWE. What were your thoughts on Dana Brooke as a wrestler?
Dana Brooke was actually just fine as far as her wrestling and stuff. You know, everybody always wants a technician, but I thought that she got the job done in the ring. She had a great look. You can't say she didn't. I don't remember her being poor on the microphone, so I'm not so sure that should have gotten in her way. I think it's all how you're booked, and I think she was booked pretty poorly behind the scenes.
Well,
I don't think
that's my point.
Did,
I don't think they ever used her properly.
I agree.
You're right. She had a look. She had good mic skills. You know what? I'm going to say serviceable mic skills. I didn't get enough. You didn't get enough from her.
She got the job done, and she looked the part, and she played the part, and she didn't fail in any of those areas. So to me, it's booking. It really comes down to how much faith is placed in the worker, and I don't feel like she got enough love from the booking. Bottom line, you know, I mean, we've seen it happen before, and it'll happen again in this business, you know. Right now, there's certain people getting pushes, and I'm kind of curious about a few of them. I'm not, my jury is out. You know, I'm wondering about a push of a certain somebody,
like
you know,
who?
here and
like
there.
Who?
Well, Valkyrie is I can't figure out if I like her yet. You know what I mean? I can't. Like with Stratton, I knew right away. I knew right away that Stratton was everything.
Such a great point. I'm not getting Valkyrie. I think they're trying to test it, but I'm telling you, it's not working.
Right. Well, you know what? As popular as she is, I've watched Naomi, you know, Trinity, whatever she's been over all these years, and I've always said to myself, this doesn't work for me. I don't see much it factor other than a very flashy intro, which is fine. It's flashy. It works. And a very, very good in-ring wrestler. But the moment I hear her talk, I'm like, no. Even with all her great moves, she has to take a back seat, like you saw recently, right, Mike?
Mm-hmm.
You know, and overseas and stuff like that. You know, there's something missing there, but she still has been put. If Dana ever got the kind of push that I've seen Naomi get over the years, I bet you Dana wouldn't be like, you know, looked at by some of the wrestling fans the way she is now. It's booking, man. It really is a lot of the time.
You know, now that you're saying that, though, the one thing I always didn't like about Dana Brooke is I felt there was too many forced gymnastics in her play set. Like, I thought an agent should have done, like, said, because she was a big, like, when I mean big girl, she was muscular. She had a great body. She should have been a more punch, kick, beat the crap out of you, girl, instead of the gymnastics, forced gymnastics things. Like, again, I'm not a wrestler. I'm not an expert, but there's things I look at and I go, why wouldn't someone say, look, there's no need for the corner-to-corner backflip. Like Stratton, in her play set, it comes off very well. With Dana, it didn't come off that well. And Valkyrie, you're right, dude, but I just don't think she's had it. Who else are you questioning the bookings with?
I'm not as much questioning, but because it's more like, you know, you can see the slow rise again. Here we go again of Otis, right? And it's being built up correctly. It is, you know, with Gable constantly being a prick to Otis and stuff like that. But I still consider Otis, as much as the fans love him, the worst Money in the Bank winner in the history of, you know, the Money in the Bank. I hated it. It didn't make sense that he had it. Otis is a great entertainer, and I think ultimately, if Otis is to have a really long career, and I may be proven to be wrong, but he's very lovable and very funny. So he may be a lifelong employee at WWE in an R-Truth kind of role. Not that it's not the same, but as far as humor goes, lovable. You know, the way Otis gets over.
I honestly feel like his career is done. He is forever a mid-carder until they decide he falls on that release point of it. You know, we got Saudi Arabia coming up this weekend.
Yeah.
Any surprises coming out? First of all, who's winning the women's Queen of the Ring and who's winning the men's King of the Ring?
Well, why don't you read me all the finals and everything, so everybody at home, we got an updated card and stuff. You know, what's the lineup there?
Let me give you the lineup, and then you go through it. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I kind of wanted to hit the whole card. That's what I'm getting at. So,
King of the Ring 2024, right?
Yes, sir. It's King and Queen of the Ring. I'll have you know.
Yeah, but
Wait a minute, Mr. Women's Evolution. What do you mean? Yeah,
Well,
you know.
no, I'm just trying to find it on the internet. Okay, are you ready?
That's
Paul
great.
Logan, Cody Rhodes. What's going to happen there?
I love that matchup. I really do.
Did I say Paul Logan? Logan Paul.
Yeah, I knew
oh my
you
God.
meant.
Oh my God.
Listen, Monty Mike. I know what you meant. You know, I love that matchup, don't you? I think that that's going to be a great match. You know, I'm disappointed that both belts are not on the line. I would have liked that. You know what I'm saying? I think that that would have been great. But look, Cody's not dropping the belt in Saudi Arabia to Logan Paul. There'll be some sort of DQ finish where nobody loses any face.
Well, are both titles on the line or just Rhodes' title?
No, Logan Paul said he removed his title from being on the line unless something has changed. Last I saw,
you're probably right. I must have missed that. That's why I'm asking.
He broke out. He was about to sign a contract that they had, and he ripped it up, and he broke out his own contract, and he was like, "This is not for my title." And Cody was like, "You know what? Fine. It's not." He did the Bob Backlund.
So
route,
then, are we seeing Cody Rhodes defeating? Logan Paul?
No, he's not. I don't look. If he pins him, okay, fine. One way or the other, Cody's walking out with his belt. Logan is not going to lose anything in the way he loses if he loses, you know, which he probably will lose, you know, whether it's count out or getting caught with the brass knuckles or getting pinned. I would prefer he doesn't get pinned. I think Logan Paul is great, and I would hate to see him get pinned, but
all right, how about Gunther is either going to wrestle Randy Orton or Tama Tonga? So first of all, who's he going to wrestle, Randy Orton or Tama Tonga?
Well, I would think it would be Randy. You know, I would think that Gunther would probably wind up wrestling Randy. I would like Gunther to get the victory. I think that he'd make a splendid King of the Ring.
I think that's written in stone.
Yeah, I believe that that's what should happen, and I hope it does happen. I love Gunther. Gunther is good, really, really, truly great.
Lyra Valkyrie against Nia Jax or Bianca Belair. This is Nia Jax's, hey, thank you for everything. She's going to be queen of the ring.
I can see it.
And you know it's a little early, but somehow Jade Cargill is going to accidentally fuck Bianca Belair up.
It could happen, but I don't know how slow they plan to go with this.
You got to go slow. You got to go slow. Yeah. Do not rush this eventual feud.
No. I really like nice build-ups, which is something WWE does very well with. See the Bloodline story. That thing went on for years.
So you're agreeing Nia Jax over Lyra Valkyrie?
I think so. I would think so, absolutely. Nia Jax will make a splendidly annoying, obnoxious queen of the ring. Oh, God, the fans will just boo the living crap out of her. That's great.
Becky Lynch, Liv Morgan.
I don't feel like there'll be a title change in Saudi Arabia. Could eventually Liv get the rub? Yeah, she could. But I don't see Becky losing the title. I mean, you know, it's weird right now, but the women are the established ones, the ones that hold the belts. And I find it funny that people are complaining about it. I mean, you've heard the complaints. Oh, Becky's champion, Bayley's champion, give somebody else a shot. This is the opposite of what we usually see in the men's. True or false? You know?
True. No, I will say this. Liv eventually will become women's champion because we're just waiting, you know, for Rhea Ripley to come back. Somehow Liv has got to get into Judgment Day, right? So that's kind of a slow thing. So is it too early for a run-in by Dom Mysterio to help Liv Morgan win the title, or does Liv still have to go through this battle before she wins the belt back? Wins the belt, period.
Yeah, I would like to see this go a little longer. I feel like this would be premature to have her do that over there. I don't think that would work for me. Becky is still a legend, and I find it hilarious. People are complaining about Becky being champion. Are you serious? Really? Her time has already passed? Nonsense. So, you know, I feel like one way or the other, Becky's going to walk out of there with the belt. They could continue the program, though. They could just beat each other senseless and get double DQ'd.
Liv eventually is going to become the women's champion, right? And
I agree.
And eventually she's going to have the face-off against Rhea Ripley, and Rhea Ripley, again, Rhea Ripley will be out of the bloodline, right?
How far off is Rhea Ripley?
Out of Judgment Day.
How far off is Rhea Ripley from returning? See, that information I don't know.
From what I understand, still like 4 months away.
Right. So, I think we've got time to cook this soup a little bit longer than right away. Go ahead.
Sami Zayn, Chad Gable, Bronson Reed. Now, I've become a big Bronson Reed fan, and I'm going to go on a limb and say Bronson Reed becomes a new Intercontinental Champion.
Sami Zayn is from the Middle East. He's a returning hero, and Sami Zayn will walk out of there with the belt.
Look at you using common sense. You're right.
Yeah. That's how I feel about it. What makes you suddenly love Bronson Reed? Tell me. Talk to me
what, dude? He's big. He's strong. I actually like his mic skills. I couldn't stand him for the longest time, and within the recent 6 months, I've actually become a pretty solid fan.
Interesting. I can't get past his build. It's a little Brodus Clay a little bit for me. Is there something wrong with me saying that?
Not at all, and I totally get it.
Look, it's presentation. I know he can knock down a wall if he felt like it. That's got nothing to do with it. It's just overall, I'm not sure he's the kind of specimen that, I'm buying into as a full package, talking, everything else. I'm still out on him. Not sure.
All right, I want to thank Ulysses Diaz for giving us such a candid interview. I'm assuming, Jimmy, I bet you his phone died because we tried texting him.
Right.
I saw something happening on the screen, so I had a strange feeling. But
right.
I got to tell you, he was as great a guy as I expected.
Yeah, he was fantastic. He's a real person. And that's what we like most is to be able to talk to people and see the real face. I'm not interested in seeing the public face. The public face everybody knows. It's the real face we're looking for.
I did want to ask him, though, and when you have famous couples like this, like Dana Brooks and him, both very popular in the genre that they're in, I did want to ask him, was there professional jealousy between them at any point? And,
wow. Okay.
And I also wanted to ask, is there emotional jealousy, right? Because she's a beautiful woman. He's a good-looking guy. He could get any chick he wants. She could get any man she wants.
Right.
Is there any jealousy there? I mean, that's what I had on the docket. How do you think you would have reacted to that question? I'll ask you. I
would like to think at this age in life, he's 43. I'm not sure how old Dana is, but look, it doesn't all come down to, well, I'm good looking and she's good looking, so I should live in a hole of paranoia. That's not how the best relationships work. There's this funny little word called trust. Okay, if you don't have look, everybody is a touch paranoid deep inside. That's normal, all right? But if you start letting your imagination get carried away, you'll ruin not just a relationship, you'll ruin everything you do in life. You got to stay in the lane. That mental plane that I tried myself so hard to try to stay here. Look, we all stumble and fall sometimes, but that's what really makes any relationship, whether it's with a friend, whether it's with a lover, whether it's with a wife, that's what makes it work. You cannot be living in paranoia.
Dude, I got to be honest. I don't think I've been jealous in the last 40 years. I'm 50, going to be 57. I haven't been jealous in the last 43 years. Like, you can't stop the inevitable. But again, it's always interesting to hear about the human aspect of it. Jimmy, again, wonderful show. I want to thank, first of all, Jimmy Snuka for coming through today. Jimmy, I know it's tough on the other side, but we really appreciate you coming in. Obviously, we want to thank the great Ulysses Diaz. I want to say thank you, Jimmy. Next week, we've got, Benny on Wednesday going solo. We've got Missy Beefcake's episode 1 with Jake's wife. Then we've got 2 of our shows, obviously, with Greg Gagne at 9 o'clock, which we're very excited about. Hopefully his phone is charged. We don't have an issue. I got to tell you, I have the utmost respect for Ulysses Diaz, and I really do appreciate him coming on the show. To end it with the elephant there's not an elephant in the room. Let's just be honest. Whatever the situation was last week and whatever happened yesterday, which I did not listen to, I listened to about 3 minutes of it. I'll give him a sound bite on it. I'm not punching down. And I'm just, we knew who I'm talking about. I don't think I've ever had any more lack of respect for a human being almost in my entire life, Jimmy. When he I think he said yesterday, I didn't want him on the channel. That's probably the most truthful thing that guy said in the whole time we knew him. I didn't like him. I didn't like him as a human being. I didn't like him as a talent. And I could not. And again, the emails he showed were true emails. Those weren't fake emails. He put them out of context. You know what I mean? Not out of context, but out of order.
Sure.
Like he didn't show what led to the emails, but that honestly it didn't matter. The point of the matter is that yeah, he's right. I did not like him. In fact, I hated him. And I don't hate anybody. I literally hated the guy.
Right.
I could not stomach any time he texted me, emailed me. You could tell by my responses. I just was like, as quick I could get away from this guy, the better.
Well, he did something very impressive. He rose somehow to the penthouse of the penis pile of the people we've come across that rubbed us the wrong way.
Yes.
And I'm amazed by making that statement, because we've come across some real scoundrels in this business. But, oh, my God, the most delusional, disloyal, backstabbing, lying, he doesn't even let the people come into the chat because he needs to get the last word. And I'm going to hold him to what he said. He said that when he lays his head down on the pillow tonight, tomorrow, this is all over and I'm not saying anything anymore. Well, prove yourself that way, big talker. You're done. We're done.
He won't. And you know what?
Of course he won't.
The reality of it is
he
has no moral fiber because, again,
right.
We were friends with Lee Cole. I don't want to say friends. We were associates with Lee Cole, okay?
We were cool. How about we were cool with Lee Cole?
We were cool with Lee Cole. And
right.
The whole thing that went down with Lee Cole is when we were going to have Gerard on, Lee lost his shit and sent me a nasty email, and I lost my temper with Lee, whatever else.
Right.
Here's the thing.
Right.
If anyone remembers, Joe Lowery was on one of the shows, and first of all, he never did any homework on Lee Cole. He didn't know who Lee Cole was. He didn't know who Tom Cole was. He didn't even know who Mel Phillips was, and he didn't even have the time to even. I had to chastise him again because I'm like, can you get prepared a little bit? Maybe. Not everybody wants. But the point of the matter is, on the show, he trashed Lee Cole. The minute this all goes down, he calls up Lee like he did, Sportskeeda, and he begs his way on. All I could say is this, and this will be the last time we even mention the guy's name. Like many people, we've put him in the shelf, okay? And by the way, just a couple of things. I did hear that he said that he spoke to Boston Wrestling. Dan Marotti's been dead for fucking 3 years, I think, already, right? 2 or 3 years.
For a while.
Right?
Yeah, unfortunately, yeah.
It's like, it's just, dude, it doesn't matter. I really wish this is the one, like, I always tell you there's always roads to where we go and there's reasons why.
Right.
This is the one thing is I wish the time, and I love Benny tremendously. The one time when he said he wanted to bring him on, I wish I would have known, like I had a crystal ball, and I was saying, no. This guy was a pain in the ass from the beginning. All we did was like say, hey, come on the channel, put on stuff, promote yourself, do whatever you want to do. And every day was a pain in the ass. And
yeah, and I had a crystal ball, so I saw it coming before everybody else. That was not fun at all. Sayonara.
Well, again, we're not punching down. Guys,
no, I'm done.
We love our family out there. This is a competition, okay? Everybody wants to do well, and we do too. This is what it's about. This is why we're trying to give you top programming, and, this is it. We, again, Maria, B40, Luce, Jason, Benny, ESO, Foxy. I mean, the list is long. And again, if anybody has become a fan of Joe Lowery, by all means, watch him. But he'll be somewhere doing something. We don't have a problem with that, okay? Here's what I do have a problem with. We work very hard on this channel. We get sponsors. Don't call my sponsors, dude. If you want a sponsor, do the work on your own. Like I offered you when you were on the channel that you acted like you never saw the email. Like, all of a sudden,
Right.
that's the one email he missed when it actually was work involved. You
Mike,
don't go
I don't know
around.
if you,
Good.
I know you didn't watch it, so I don't know if you know this, but he called John Cena Sr.'s source fake and a fraud.
Well, that was,
by the way.
Yeah, I heard that someone wrote me about that. He said it was a
Right.
fake. He couldn't find it on the internet. He's such an expert. He doesn't even know who John Cena's father is, who's very famous in Massachusetts, by the way.
Right.
You know,
Right.
And, Party Puppy, I'm sorry, that's Big Brother Gina Marie Zimmerman's company. And by the way, if you do have a dog, I recommend going on there and ordering stuff
Right.
from Party Puppy. Good fucking
Right.
wines. When they joined us, they sold one wine. Now what are they
Right.
selling? Vodka, whiskey, everything else. That guy loves us.
Right.
We love him. We're thankful.
Right.
APB Security. Yeah, real company.
Sunny
again,
Beach.
Sunny Beach,
Great
who, by the way,
company.
is a millionaire.
Great company.
It's like, hello,
Yeah.
you're going to call that a
Got
fake? That's
beautiful-
another fake sponsor.
Wait, Mike, he's got a beautiful house with a beautiful wife.
Right.
You know? I mean, come on, Sonny rules. Rules.
Anyway,
Very real, by
to
the
me,
way.
Jimmy,
Very real
this has
guy.
been all worth it. It's been all worth it. I
Amen.
am so glad he is gone. I will never think about him again. You'll never see a video about him again. I don't care. You know what? God bless, dude. I hope you make $1 million. I doubt it, but I hope you do well in the future, Mr. Joe Lowry. We wish you only the best here from Monte and the Pharaoh. We hope that all the fans love you and adore you. That's it. We only wish you the best, Joe Lowry.
Well said, Mike. Bravo. Bravo.
See, I'm
Author.
learning, Jimmy. You
Author.
talked to me once, I'm learning.
There
I,
you go.
on a personal level, feel like I'm so proud to have the people that come and join us every Thursday, and we have the people on the channel. And I believe, and this is only my belief, is we're making art here. Ulysses Diaz's art. People will never listen, dude. If you're a one-trick pony and all you're going to talk about is Vince McMahon, his sexual escapades, sooner or later that shit's going to die. You know what I
Right.
mean? That's it.
Right. Right.
If you have no talent, Greg Gagne will live in infamy. You know what I mean?
Right. Right.
We
Look,
have
look,
the last interview with the great Bob Backlund. Listen, there's no turning
Right.
it away. And again,
Right.
whatever, man. It does. I'm not defending it. I will not defend it anymore. I don't
Look,
even know why
look.
I even felt like I had to.
You don't have to, and here's the most important thing. Long after we're gone, long after the people who watch us and join us every week and love the programming, and we love them right back.
Let's not
Long-
forget. Wait a minute. I just want to. And ESO must have been a fake sponsor too, because that's how we met him.
Of course he's fake.
right?
He's not professional. How dare you even mention him? What's wrong with you? You know? But long after we're all gone, the library, or as Benny calls it, the catalog, it's being built, all right? So years from now, long after we're gone, wrestling fans that fall in love with wrestling with stars we'll never see in their day and when their time is to come, they're going to go back and look at the library, and they're going to see one Hall of Famer after another, not just talking about their career, but they're going to see the real face. And that's why I love you, and that's why I love this show, because this is about the real person, not just the real accomplishments.
Can I send us off with this one last thing, and we could just cut? Usually end the show, but I feel like I could say something and end it, if you don't mind, Jimmy, with your
Absolutely.
permission.
Take it away. Take it away.
If you're going to talk about other people like Vince McMahon and his escapades, look at your own life. Look at what you've done with your life before you judge other people. If you're going to come on and lay a single judgment on person, look at what you've done, right? If you've been accused of kidnapping and arrested for kidnapping, or you don't talk to your children anymore, or you have been accused of certain things, right? Again, you and me are pretty clean, right? We have never, we're as vanilla as it gets. There's nothing to find out about us. These other guys, they're suspect. They're suspect. And again, don't throw rocks at a man that lives in a glass house, Jimmy, right?
Amen, brother.
Send us out, Jim.
You have been watching Monte and the Pharaoh. And until next time, love you all. Later.